Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 126 of the Terminus podcast for the weeks of August 10th. I just misread the 8. August 10th, 2019. I am your dispatcher, Ellis, otherwise known as Trainman or the Admiral, switching all that over. With me I have Brett Wiebold, Chris Homan, and Nick Christensen.
Hello!
Which I appreciate you guys updated the thing for me, although Chris is supposed to be a fireman.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to do that. With us returning as our brakeman is Pester.
Hello for the third
Welcome
time.
back. Hey, I mean, I think it's good when we have people on here that are sort of recurring characters. That means that we have people that know what to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's the annual Pester special.
Yeah.
Anyway, before anybody gets thrown in Gulag, the train will terminate at this station.
Okay, this week we are in Mashinki, not Mahiny, not Maloney, Mashinki. Specifically mine.
Specifically his.
I was going to make a John Mulaney
my
and nothing came to mind.
Anyway, let's move on to the Class 1 Medal of Responsibility this week. Spoiler alert, doesn't change hands. However, Union Pacific did manage to derail 70 cars.
Wow.
And, yeah, they pile up 70 cars of, I think, sand.
I hate sand. It's coarse. It's rough. When you derail an entire train of it, it goes everywhere.
There was no hazmat involved. Nobody was hurt, despite the coarse, rough, irritating nature of sand. The cause of the derailment is under investigation. And the next day, Norfolk Southern derailed. Norfolk Southern derailed on Horseshoe Curve again. For the same reason, actually, center beams at the front of a train. It's almost as if maybe somebody should be paying attention when they're putting the trains together, but apparently Norfolk Southern doesn't abide by that sort of, ridiculous thought process.
Good on you.
That's hard.
Or more likely, after a discussion with Chris, more likely somebody went, "Hey, this is wrong," and their boss said, "Shut up," and so they set the train out anyway. BNSF derailed near Hull. I have no idea where Hull is, but
it's at the bottom of the sea.
New Sioux City, South Dakota.
And I can't scroll over in the page because I no longer have a mouse. I can scroll that way. God damn it! 83-car mixed freight train derailed 7 miles south of Dune, 5 miles north of Hull. 26 cars left the tracks. 24 were on their side. One of the cars contained denatured alcohol, and the other ones contained nothing important, basically. Nothing hazardous. So there's that, and we have one more derailment on the clock. That is another Norfolk Southern derailment. And by God, they split a rail car in half.
Yep.
I don't know. The train was being operated remotely.
They did.
And it just popped a car in the middle and just destroyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Plastic pellets everywhere. And took down a telephone pole.
Oof.
It was over in Allentown Yard.
Nice.
So
I didn't know Allentown had
it was just one of the
robo
yards.
switcher, but that's... They just
they do.
crunched this thing.
I've seen it. It's really neat. Hilariously, I've actually talked with the engineer who's running
Oh,
the boat.
God.
He's over at the office.
Do you really count as an engineer when you're essentially there with a power pack? Like, you're an engineer in the same way that some guy in his basement running his HO scale is an
Yeah, but this one's bigger.
Yes.
This one can hurt people.
It's 1-to-1 scale.
12 inches to a foot, man.
Yeah.
Size does matter, or else, or else you'd be running model trains.
What's today?
November 2nd?
The 11th.
Okay. My milk isn't expired.
I mean, just look at it. Like, the number isn't like at this point the bacteria will show up.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what day it was. I've been gone for a week.
Most milk you can drink.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm slightly before the sell-by date, on the sell-by date, slightly past the sell-by date. Like, how much do I need to sniff this before I drink it?
Most milk you can actually drink after it starts going chunky.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to.
Fine.
Why would you say that?
Milk.
As long as it's not chunky, you're fine.
All right, I've got a solo cup of milk and a Krispy Kreme donut.
Okay.
Ooh, sounds lovely.
Specifically Krispy Kreme, because we're not communist.
We'll do communist tea.
Donkey.
Entenmann's and chunky milk.
I think I found the name of the podcast.
Entenmann's and chunky
How do you
milk.
spell Entenmann's?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that way.
Just guess it. Just wing it.
Entemans.
No, that's not even close. It's Entenmann. Entenmann.
Mann. Okay.
The Entenmann.
Lovely. I feel sick
Must
just hearing how
enunciate.
you spell that.
That's right. Let's forget this a second.
Okay.
Oh, Dean's alone.
Interesting.
In alone in the fan chat.
Dean ends up alone in chats. I had to drag him into the chat that we had all moved to because he wasn't paying attention earlier today.
Oh boy.
But maybe he just wanted to be alone.
Sad boy.
Anyway, speaking of being alone, has anybody sat alone with their model railroads lately?
I don't have one, so I just sit alone.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I have, in fact. I graduated from high school, and since I was last on,
I.
Oh wow.
I decided it's my damn part. I want to have a, and I really wanted to call a friend of mine to bring up an actual steam engine to have at the party. However, my parents wouldn't let me.
Boo!
So I made a train table for low scale, and I had a little figure eight, and I sat there for about 3 hours and played it, and forgot about everyone else. At the
That's
party.
how you do it.
Nice.
Great. That's how we do it.
So, I actually haven't been to the PN in a couple of months because I was busy and then I cut my finger open and things have gone downhill from there.
Nice.
Also, just a thought. I wanted to announce the fact that this is the first Discord podcast. Just saying that for everyone that's listening, you can now get to our Discord in the cargoes. I should have probably saved that to the end, but I wanted to make sure I got it out of the way.
Well, and if the audio sucks, we know why.
No, audio's better usually, I find.
Yeah.
Everybody says, "Oh, Discord's better. It's better with this. Better with this."
Yeah, coming directly
The audio
from
work-
Skype to Discord has been kind of disappointing. We've had a lot. We've had
It's
a
more
lot of
you-
audio problems.
Sorry.
We've had a lot of we can't do this for whatever reason, sort of problems. Like, it's been majorly disappointing. I expected everything to be better, but
It's a learning curve, and it's more individually based now. So basically, instead of Skype, it's all hosted off of one base computer. In Discord, it's hosted on a server, so it's more everyone has their own audio quality now instead of everyone having.
Yeah.
So everyone can suck
yeah, that's
independently.
basically what it's boiled down to. Anyway,
Unlike, it's also terrible.
a couple days after I busted my finger, I had to drive up to Falmouth, Maine. And I didn't do any foaming on the way, because I had to do it for work. And I was very close to Portland, and I was thinking, like, oh, maybe I can just run over and see the narrow gauge, whatever. Now, I ended up going through that day. It was super hot, and
Super hot.
it's the most innovative shooter I've played in decades. And there was a railroad crossing there, and I was like, well, nobody uses this thing because it goes down to a dead end at the north side of Portland. But on the way back, I was coming into Providence, and I just happened to catch the Providence and Worcester switching out the Providence Journal, which is the newspaper, and they drop off carloads of paper for them. And I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. I wish I could have been there like an hour earlier to watch them squeeze into their tiny, like, siding that runs up to the very edge of the river, which can fit, like, which can fit, like, an engine in one car before you're on the road. But...
Is that sort of the curvy warehouse?
I just saw the train sitting there. I was like, what are they doing? And by the time I got off the highway, through Oneyville, like downtown, by the road that they were near, they were already leaving, and I saw them disappear underneath, like, the mole. And I was like, I'm going to chase these guys back to Pawtucket. So I did that. I made it to Providence Yard. I beat them to Providence Yard. They were just pulling in. And I saw them do, like, one switching move, and I figured, oh, they're going to pick up the train and then head back to the yard in Valley Falls, or they're going to go north and, whatever. I drive north to Valley Falls to wait for them at a grade crossing, because I'll get a couple of cool pictures, whatever. It's this area where there's a long straightaway, which I got arrested walking down, or not arrested, but booked. Booked walking down once. And I'm standing there, nobody's showing up. I realize I'm still wearing my high-vis vest like an idiot foamer, because I was out doing work stuff, so I had to wear my high-vis. Somebody leans out of the office and, like, looks at me funny, and I'm just like, no, just not, don't mind me. And...
I work for the CSX.
And in hindsight, I should have, like, asked him a couple questions, because I had a couple questions, and I didn't really want to talk to the engine crew, because they were friggin' exhausted when they got back. The guy who's been sitting in the air-conditioned office all day, I'll ask him questions. But finally they come around the corner way down the line, and I'm like, where's the train? It's just the two engines? Apparently they leave everything in Providence for a different train to come pick up later. The train that does the switching is completely separate from the one that actually goes to Worcester. It just runs out of Valley Falls, goes down all the way through Rhode Island, comes back up, and that's it. And I was like, alright, just a pair of engines here, and they pull up to the grade crossing, the gates still haven't gone down. They have to pull up all the way to the grade crossing, then they start going down. And, I got a couple of cool pictures and some video of it, and I was like, alright, well this is neat, but it's just the engine that they just cruised right into the engine house, and that was it. That was the end of the day. It was like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or so. It was a hot day. I saw them carrying like a whole cooler in. It was a hell of a day to be doing anything outside. But that's like all the railroad stuff that I've done, aside from taking the train and getting stuck. And actually, so the MBTA has been kind of disappointed with the performance of their newer engines. And
those being
the hypothermic Bs. And I don't even know what they're actually called, but Achilles knows. And, they've had some issues, so they decided that in order to supplement their fleet, what they're doing is they're sending away, like, 10 or 20 F-40s to get rebuilt. And they apparently have pretty high hopes for these things. And I hadn't seen one until just the other day. I was coming out of work, and I work... Even the office in Warwick is right across the street from the railroad tracks. And I just saw one of these go by, and I was like, hey, that's a cool paint job. Oh, there's one of those! That's one of the rebuilds! And I just had a total... I had a brief, 5-second foam moment. I was on the phone with Madison, and I was like, sorry about that. But yeah, that I think is everything I've done in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Or several weeks.
I have an old high-vis... Sorry, you go. Sorry.
No, my bad. I was gonna segue because I wanted to ask Milky about how.
Oh, I have a quick high-vis story. Then you can do it. When basically back in 2017, when the CP 150 train was rolling around Canada, it rolled into Ottawa, and I'm filming the train coming in, and then there's this one guy who wasn't a CP employee but had a CP high-vis vest, filmed the train. Nobody questioned him.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
I'm like, what? And I just kind of watched him.
I will be right back. I didn't take a phone call.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, all right. Now we can talk bad about him. It's funny.
Oh, Chris is too much like Chris.
Like him being here ever stopped us.
Well,
Yeah. So Milky, I know you've done something pretty big in the past couple of weeks. you had your whole steam up or whatever, right?
Yep. The Great Oregon Steam Up was last weekend on August 3rd and the 4th, and the weekend prior to that. And that was fun for a number of different reasons. I mostly gave barn tours and had quite a bit of donations come in through that. So
That is really good.
Helps keep up what we're doing in the barn.
The yarn.
And the double-decker, my brat pool car, had its pole snap a little bit. So that's currently out of commission until we can replace the part that costs like $20 at most. So it's not like it's a big deal. It's not like the entire pole snapped. It's just one small piece that is
about that.
I remember you posted a picture of like the trolley pole nowhere near the wire, and you were like, "Rip." And I was like, I don't know much about trolleys, but that doesn't look good to me.
Sure.
I may be just an old railroader.
I may be just an old skyship pilot and know nothing about trolleys, but
My layman's perspective, electricity is better when you're actually conducting.
Yeah. I will post the picture here in the chat.
So what does the steam up consist of?
Podcast chat. Mostly about 3 dozen privately owned steam tractors parading
Jesus
around.
Christ, that's a lot of steam tractors.
Yeah. So that's the picture, but it happened to break down right in front of the car barn too, which was really good for getting people off.
Let's just push it back in.
Wait, sorry, you go.
And we got our speeder and pushed it back in.
Spooter.
Did the trolley?
Sorry, nailed it.
I thought you were done.
No, ask Preston. What was your question? Go ahead.
So, did the trolley pole flip upside down or something? Because it looks like it's hooked the wrong way. Oh, okay.
No, the bit connecting the wheel and the pole broke. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what's
Yeah.
It's fine.
Where's that streetcar from?
Blackpool, England.
Oh, okay. All right.
My little stick of Blackpool rock.
So I was around there. It's a free-foot railroad that's being built, not by us, by a different museum.
And their scary Mexican engine that they want to
Wait,
try.
what?
Yeah, I suppose.
The little engine that Mexican.
Yeah.
Is it the little diesel?
That's just the...
No. What is it? I want to know what this is.
It's scary,
I'm out of
is
the
what
loop
it
on
is.
this scary locomotive.
Okay, hold up. I'm gonna find it now.
Figuring out where the bishops go.
You need to figure out where the horsey goes.
No, the horsey goes right here.
Okay.
Here's the horsey. There he goes, right there.
Are you just gonna play chess with yourself during the podcast?
I got a new chess set, and I'm unpacking everything in the background, and a chess set is one of the things.
Nerd.
Yeah, well, it's the set that I learned to play on.
That's cool.
Should we make that a thing? Wild Bull plays chess with someone. That's a new show for you guys.
That's funny. You think I have somebody to
Wild
play
Bull
chess with?
It's actually him, and then him in one of those little plastic glasses and a mustache thing.
There we go.
Yeah, with the big nose.
Oh my god, there are like 5 different things going on with this engine.
Yes.
Is this the picture I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
The stupid stack extension.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? Oh my god.
It looks like somebody...
No, you know what it is? You know what that is?
It's got paint. It's got paint.
You know where I've seen that before? World 1-1,
Where?
and there's a piranha plant coming out of it.
Yep.
Oh, it's not good.
Last time I saw this, it was completely black. It wasn't covered in all the sports
Civil
tape
War
garb.
trade.
It is. They repaint it every now and then. Right now, it's
Take
great.
note of the fact that the smoke box door has
Yeah, I
like the
saw
British
that.
style clock face lock.
I saw that. This is amazing.
Yep.
So who's restoring this?
That's scary, is what that is.
Okay.
Because I-
so
The fact that
if-
somebody wants to move that
Shut
under
up
its
and take
own
my
power
money.
is unnerving.
Actually, you know who deserves this donation? Como.
No.
Como.
No,
It would
I don't
fit
think even they
right
deserve
in.
it.
No, it would fit right in at Como.
I'm what's Como?
Speaking of
Oh no, I really thought you were gonna have something.
No, I don't actually have any news from Como. It's been a while since they've done anything of notable.
They built
It's been a
whole
while
bunch of
since
track
you've done
levels.
anything
I know.
of notable, whatever, because you've been away for a week.
I'm an uncultured
But-
Canadian.
I have been away
But
for a
how's
week,
Lucy?
which is why I'm standing the Romans up rather than talking about trains.
Yeah.
I'm
Lucy,
uncultured.
I don't know how Lucy's doing. Again, I've been away for a week. She has been working on the tender. They fixed the pilot because a couple of the boiler tubes were completely rotted through, and if we hit anything with it, it might have just, folded in on itself.
Yikes.
Oh.
So that got fixed and painted, and it's back on the engine now.
I'm an uncultured Canadian swine. What's Como?
Como.
A coma. This is the prelude. You go to
Okay.
Como and get.
Como, because I was gonna leave Liable to do it,
Como.
but Como is just this railroading group that are building out of the town of Como, and they are
Okay.
notoriously
They're rebuilding
lax
the old
with
TNT
safety
yard.
procedures.
They're
Oh.
a danger to themselves and everyone around them.
Is that the
I
town
think
they're
that's
building out of?
under-
Yeah, that's Como. Yeah.
That is a nothing.
Yeah.
They've got a roundhouse.
Yeah.
So there's that.
They got an engine. They got a
They've
station.
got-
That is a
They've got an
professional
engine.
nothing. That is
They
a
don't
nothing.
actually have a station. They don't own the station.
That's like
God damn it.
up in Maine, the SR&RL Museum. The original Phillips station still exists, and the people that own it don't really care about it. The town of Phillips is probably smaller than Como, and
Yeah. See, Como's deceiving though because while the town is fairly big, 3/4 of it is owned by the same person, and it's all
Oh.
abandoned. like a good 70% of the buildings in Como are completely
that
derelict.
sucks.
Oh.
You just can't tell from a distance.
But the owner of the old Phillips Depot has a standing agreement with the SR&RL Museum, which is if you can get here, you can have the depot. Unfortunately, the thing that's separating them is a pretty hefty river. They would need a couple
Fine,
$1 million
it's
for a
fine.
bridge over that river, and they have plans for it.
Oh, wow,
They have
interesting.
it was a covered bridge. It would be an awesome bridge if they were to rebuild it, but
Hey,
Yeah.
guess.
the
Hey, guys,
engineering's the
guys,
expensive
Yeah.
part.
what?
Hey, guys.
What?
It's free real estate.
Tree real estate.
Well, the only thing,
Also, I got a pipe.
Okay.
like, pipe or the pipe.
Like a corn pipe.
No, Chris,
Cool.
like a copper tube.
Well, look, I wasn't sure if he meant like a cheater pipe or like a smoking
No,
pipe.
he got
Yes,
bored.
I inherited a smoking or a cheater pipe.
Look, I wouldn't.
I
put it
inherited a
past-
cheater pipe, this large 6-foot piece of steel tube.
Yeah.
Look, I wouldn't put it past you. Sorry.
Well,
They could just make a bridge with a massive steel too. Like grab one of the
Hey,
other Hyperloop tubes.
they've
and
done
put
it
a- put a
before.
tree to that.
Stevenson did it. So
Stevenson did a lot of things.
which Stevenson?
There's two of them. No answer.
The guy that
Whoops,
invented
wrong
the
person.
city valve? No.
oh well, you can have that anyway.
You say shitty valve gear, it works pretty well.
Yeah,
But the
It
It's
just
difficult,
goes out of adjustment if you look at it.
and it can't go faster.
Well,
than
then it doesn't work pretty well, does it? Now.
Oh no, it works great if it's adjusted correctly.
And
am I
then 50
thinking
miles
of
an hour. Second you go
oh no,
right
am I
through.
thinking of Brunel? I'm thinking of who had the big tubular
You're
bridge.
thinking Brunel.
Thank you.
Brunel.
Sorry, I knew it was some
Yeah.
English dude.
Some
A
English
relatively
dude, yes.
important English dude, but nonetheless.
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson invented railroad
Knowing
bridges.
him,
You
knowing him,
protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
knowing him, he'd probably claim it as his
It's
own.
my bridge.
Honestly, the more I see of Boris Johnson, the more I like him.
That's concerning.
Just saying, England.
That's concerning. As a
we're gonna get
personality,
to- Have you
as a
actually
personality, I think he's pretty funny.
Well, have you seen like actual interviews with the guy? I like him. I don't agree with him on all sides.
Okay, yeah, there we go. That's
You know,
fine.
I think he's
But
a
I
great
like him.
personality. Glad he's over there. But anyway.
What? Because we've got it so much better.
Listen, I wasn't gonna bring U.S. politics into this right now. I was just making a statement.
Also,
I
Bernie
was
was
just
on
making
Joe
a
Rogan.
statement.
Can we don't?
Anyway, has anyone else done any other railroad things before we
blah.
before
Back
we
to
move
the
on to the part
trains.
where we fight each other?
Okay, here we go.
I have. Because...
We're not there already.
All right, the podcast started 20
I was
minutes
about to
ago.
You press the record button. I have, since I have been on, I don't even know. If someone in the comments could, like, find out when the last time I was on, that'd be great. So, I have graduated
Yep.
from high school. I have
Whoa.
gotten a
Good.
full-time job.
Yeah.
I have lost a girlfriend, and I have gained a girlfriend.
Oh, fancy.
Time that actually, no, I have gained another girlfriend too in the time
What?
that I
He's
have
now
have
had
been
two
on.
girlfriends at the same time. Now,
Yeah, I'm on number 2.
he's converting to Mormonism and going
livestock.
full in on the
Livestock.
polygamy.
He yep.
Yep. You know, both
Hello.
at the same time. You know, but the place that I work is called Universal Forest Products in Gordon. We make roof trusses. But that's not important.
Hey.
What is important is the fact that, 1, it gets rail service every day, and 2, it's the site of the former Reading engine house in town there. There is not much else. There's not much else in town there other than this. The only thing that survives is a wall that I'm not quite sure why it was made to be a wall, but it's still original. And the 2-stall engine house, which is absolutely beautiful inside, although they put a drop ceiling in it, so it sucks. And I work right next to it. And if you look into the chat, which I will post a picture of it.
Picture. Milky red.
Where is it? So
Red is
I
for
started
travel.
working there.
What?
Look at the pictures.
It's nice. 5 days a week. I see
Hang on,
writing
I can't.
every
I
day.
still can't. Oh,
Yeah.
red.
That's the guest list, you fucking idiot.
Also, is a Kraus.
Yep.
That's actually a really nice model
It
of
is.
the Kraus.
Yeah.
It's pretty low poly, but it looks okay in 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind, I'm gonna watch Eric play Derail Valley.
And the
Dural.
bird. Where is it? That's. God damn it! I don't like Discord for posting photos.
It's not like
Yeah.
different than Skype, really.
No,
Yes,
it
but
was.
I can't
You
make
drag it
big.
in,
There it is.
and then you hit enter.
This. All the photos are on my phone, so I have to post it on the phone. That is the view from my workstation every morning. It's absolutely gorgeous. In other news, I went on a big trip to Maryland and met Mr. Simon Miller, another Horseman member, for the roller derby. We went to we had a game in Maryland. I also met a lot of the people from the Gmod Foamers. We have Warhawk, Jake Abel, Brad, Vaughn, and then Jimmy Lambert in that photo.
And you went to Shady Maple.
That's why I met him at Strasbourg and I took him to Shady Maple. Where else was I supposed to take him?
Yikes.
They loved it.
It was good. What night was it? Was it steak night?
No, it was Monday, so it was seafood.
I love Jimmy in that photo. He's just kind of done
Yep.
with his life. Like, why am I here?
And then I continued. I went back to work, And then I continued south. I saw 17. I saw 17 on the way.
Hey.
17 was nice, by the way.
Ooh, fancy.
Let's see here. I then went to Point of Rocks, Maryland, which is a beautiful train station. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
That's cute.
Absolutely beautiful. And it's great. The Breakbirds is still huge.
What goes through there?
I then took Amtrak and Mark
I was wondering which Amtrak.
and Freight.
Okay.
Capital.
Okay,
Capital
I
runs through
don't
there.
by there. I don't recognize it.
Then I then went to Kent Island, which is where
It is.
1223 served her last days on in Maryland. It's on the Chesapeake Bay on the other side of the Bay Bridge.
Chesapeake
Really
Bay.
cool. Here is Mr. Simon Miller in my car in the Duke Mobile.
Yeah.
For the record, for the roller derby, we lost terribly.
Oof.
Did you play against Jimmy?
No,
All right.
we played it against 301. Here is a great photo. We then went to the B&O Museum, which was worth $20 to get in, and really not worth it.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
Oof.
Wait, were you there? Were you there?
There's a lot of
Worldcon
stuff
was
in there. Really wasn't worth it.
Compared to Steamtown where it's
Were
free.
you-
Well, not even compared to Steamtown where it's free, but compared to the Pennsylvania, the PA Museum, the Museum of PA, which is $7 to get in, and you get a lot more. There wasn't much to do, and that plus the train ride was $15 on top of admission.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's a little.
Um,
That's a little bit.
were you in Baltimore during BronyCon?
Well, no, I think I'm okay.
No, I'm just asking because
you
it's down the
would
street.
I did not go to the BronyCon.
No, I'm just asking. Were you?
He could have heard Iams from there.
Yeah.
Back in Louisiana. Love you, Brad.
Yeah, I remember when I was thinking of like doing a trip to the Baltimore Ohio Museum, and I remember reading a post saying, "Be warned, do not go in the first weekend of August because that's when BronyCon is, and bronies rule the city during that weekend."
July, like the second to last week of July or so.
Well, remember when
you're safe.
we
You're
had
safe.
to change the timing of the entire
Ooh.
Pennsylvania special because of Thomas?
Yes. Yes, I
Yep.
do recall.
We were almost there.
When the last
on
time I
day
was out of the B&O, I went down a couple weeks ago on day out with it, and it actually wasn't
No.
that bad. No, it wasn't that
Becoming
bad.
soft.
It is. When I was first at the B&O Museum, when I was a little kid, I tried to throw this switch and couldn't. So I tried to replicate the photo. I can throw the
so
switch
proud of you.
now.
Chris can throw a switch.
Here is the William Mason.
Ooh.
William Mason.
I was wearing corduroy breeches, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging
Here is-
ditches.
B&O 377.
Poor thing.
And
Ella.
the only other photo I have from down there, really, well, I have, for the Terminus question, I have the Stourbridge Lion boiler,
Ooh.
Huh.
which, for those of you who do not know, it ran on the rails and then derailed because mahogany did not hold it. Was shipped back to England and used as a stationary boiler, and a number of years ago it came back to America and is now at the B&O Museum.
Cool.
Well, some of it is.
America. What are they?
And then here's,
What are they running for rides over there?
they run a Jeep 30 with a bunch of streamlined cars.
Big meh.
Yeah, it's a train.
It's a train, and it's not like it's a really good ride. You're in Center City, Baltimore, for Christ's sake. The coolest thing you get to see is you get to see the restoration shop, and that's that. And it's just a building.
How far does it go?
Like, it
Yeah.
is, like, maybe 2 miles down to the CSX
Oh
interchange and
man,
back.
they have so much.
I mean,
They have so
the
much
city center-
opportunity there.
They
Yeah.
do.
Although I mean, really, do they have so much opportunity? The city center of Baltimore looks like Baghdad, but rainy.
Yeah.
But they have fucking steam engines there. They have number 4. I did get to see number 4. They had it in the shop. They had all the boiler plugs out of it, so I'm there looking in. Like a
Which
fucking
one is
idiot.
4?
Little 040 St. Elizabeth's Hospital. It's a little tank engine. It's pretty cute.
Oh, cool.
And I was looking around at it. They didn't have any oil in anything, so.
Well,
Um,
it's not so.
that's down for a 15 year. So I don't know. I couldn't look in. They have everything. They have everything roped off, and it's a lot very very well geared for kids. The collection is
fun.
very cool, but there's just not that
I mean,
much.
to be fair, it
Yeah.
is, when you have a museum that is downtown like that one is, that's going to be your audience, You,
Yeah.
I'm about to piss
What?
off Ellis.
Thanks.
Downtown.
Anyway.
The lights are bright.
the other thing is, the reason I say they have so much
It's just-
opportunity is not necessarily the fact that they have all that equipment there, but they have, a mainline connection at the end of their run. If I were them, and if I had the ability to, I would be capitalizing on that and running much longer excursions.
There's
Uh,
there's things. Don't worry. There's things. We looked over a lot of the engines inside, like the B&O, big steam engines and stuff like that, and a lot of them look in very good mechanical shape. Just from an outside view, like the bottoms of the barrels
Yeah.
look okay. There's no asbestos on them, which is strange.
Just
Dispersed us.
And it's all kind of good. Everything all kind of seems to be. After that, I saw the Acela,
I
which
helped.
was pretty
Oh.
cool. I don't get to see that often.
Mhm.
So it was pretty cool to see a train go by me at 100 miles an hour and feel the wind.
Mhm. Is it
And then I went home.
Yay!
And then
Whoa.
where's the thing? After then, 113 picnic happened.
Mhm.
I helped try to go down the boiler and find a donut ring, which we found the donut ring. It needed a magnet to get out because it was just down the.
What?
Why? Well, you'll understand this.
What kind of donut was
All
it?
right,
Was it
donut
Krispy
ring.
Kreme?
wait.
No,
How
it
how'd
was
you
a
get it
metal.
out with a magnet?
Now
Oh,
listen. Tyler, in his infinite wisdom. Well, I'm gonna use names here
Oh,
for this
boy.
one.
Uh-oh.
Tyler they were taking the throttle out, and the donut ring dropped. It bounced on the tubes and rolled off the side.
Oh, that donut.
That donut.
Great.
Yeah. So I went over to change my oil. This was actually right before the Maryland trip, and hey, Christopher. Yeah. Come up here a second. I need you to go down the boiler. Okay. And I went down the boiler and I couldn't find it. We got a scope and got it down the side. It was just past where it starts to curve back down.
Oh boy.
It
Huh.
wasn't rubbing up against anything, so it actually would have been fine. But the problem is that we don't have, for some reason, that's the only blueprint we don't have.
Oh
But it's
no.
so
Yeah.
worn down. That
Well, and that's not the
we
kind
need
of
to
thing
use
that you
the
keep a
blueprint.
spare for either.
we are going to make measurements of it at the very least.
Yeah, that'd be wise.
That's scary because that was not safe. But we got it out, and it's back, and the throttle has yet to go back in.
That fishing things out of a boiler or a
Yeah.
reservoir feeling is just. I hate it. I can't wait till we pull the tubes on 91 and actually go in and finish the
You're
1472
just gonna
on the
find
barrel.
you're gonna find all the tools and lost change
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
Even in our time at the museum, there's a pair of calipers down there. There's what's left of a
Yeah.
calculator in there.
there's a torch in the bottom of the 113. Torch,
Nice.
a full torch assembly.
Nice.
Yeah, that's down there.
Amazing.
And I
Right.
finally got to ride, and this will be the last thing for me. I finally got to ride the Colebrookdale.
Nice.
Rebecca, Jesus fuck no. Lauren actually took me for a train ride on it.
You're gonna get punched doing that.
Doing what?
Why?
Because mixing her name up.
Yeah, I am gonna get. Look, I have the time. I kind of want to say Madison for some reason. Like, no, you're not Madison. No, you're not. I also called her my sister. I called her Hannah too. And I'm like, no, you're not
Jesus
Hannah
Christ.
either. But yeah, I found out the price. It was $140.
Damn.
Wow.
You know,
Good Lord.
$70 a person
Wow.
Wow.
for this trainer, which I know to like you, Weibel, that's nothing. That's a normal.
What?
ticket.
I mean, yeah, it's a normal ticket on the Durango and Silverton,
Yeah.
or on the Cumbres, like for some of the greatest scenery and
Or on the
Yeah.
most
cog,
wonderful
'cause the
railroad
cog's friggin'
experiences in the U.S. The
Now,
cog
this-
is
really
expensive.
Yeah.
It brought
Now, so
more.
I assume.
She decided
Sorry.
she didn't just buy the coach. The coach was like $50 just for a coach seat. The inside of these cars was absolutely beautiful. I wish I took a couple more photos of the cars. That was the food I got. I'm not usually a big fan of bunny food. It was actually really, really good. I will say it was good for little tiny things.
She does actually have a slight resemblance to Madison.
And Chris
That's-
in that
yeah,
picture
it's-
looks
yeah,
like
that's how I
Emilio,
know that.
which trips me out.
How old is she?
She's 18.
Okay.
So,
I can't
The
disclose.
first picture of the first picture of you two, she looks substantially older than you.
yeah, that picture is kind of bad because the lighting.
Like she
the line
looks like
down
she's
there-
30, and you look like you're 12.
I always look like I'm 12.
Wow.
Oh, so we'll be able to use
Uh,
you to get into the Children's Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come,
Here we go again.
Okay, Dad.
You need a parent or a guardian.
Hi, Dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the cars were absolutely beautiful. They're just regular like heavyweights, so 3 axles. Oh
Okay.
my God, it's all kind of like decked out, stained wood and varnish, like 1910s varnish. Beautiful, beautiful inside. Like the dining car was all decked out with like fake leaves and all that stuff. Oh my, it just was so pretty. I will say it's absolutely beautiful, and the line was. Everyone has always said, "Oh, it's a tunnel of trees." Oh, it's a tunnel of trees, and yes, it is a tunnel of trees, but you can see a lot through that tunnel of trees.
Can you
Yeah.
see the forest through them?
It was. Yes, you can see the forest through the tunnel of
Okay.
trees. They have. They actually just got it running. I sadly did not ride it. They have a little Brill Doodlebug Model 2.
Oh, nice.
Doodlebug. It's really cool. It came from the Arizona Eastern Railroad. Real little cool little thing. They have a little grove. They have. Let me put it this way: they have another thing in their prices. They have a drink list. Okay, it's fine. You know, alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is $12 for a bottle of beer.
Welcome to every stadium ever.
no.
$12.
Yeah.
Like
Jeez.
that's just ridiculous. And we got since we wanted something else to drink other than water, we got a root beer flow, which came in a very nice glass. That was $12.
Huh.
Like it's just, I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah.
But
I mean, $12 for a
A
beer
little much.
is excessive.
Yeah, that's just a
Like,
bit
even-
much.
Like even stadiums, it's what, probably $6 for a
Yeah.
beer.
It's usually
Yeah,
like
about that.
6 or 7, but $12 for, and it's not like saw someone order. It's not like, oh, you're getting like a glass out of it. No, you're just getting a bottle.
Yeah, 12
Like, no, you're
$12
just
is like
getting a
what you
bottle
pay
of
for a
beer.
dinner.
Yeah. I was like floored by like, holy shit. Oh, the
Not a
service,
particularly
was, the crew
nice
was-
dinner, but a dinner.
The crew was absolutely phenomenal. I gave them a nice tip. They were absolutely amazing. They were. We will be back. Not riding in the diner again because that's way too much money. But they were. It was a very enjoyable time.
Please.
And also, here's Lauren on the 113.
Hey.
Hey. When you were talking about asbestos, all I thought in my mind is asbestos is bees, but if they were installation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's a conclusion. Anyway, before we move on to, unless we have other stuff to talk about, I think my assumptions that the cog is so expensive is like A, 100% of it is a bridge, and B, I think going up a hill at 45 degrees is expensive. I think like it's got to be like 90% infrastructure costs, right? Just to keep the thing from going.
You pay by the degree.
Yeah.
So, before we move on to the next bit, and this is wildly off topic, Mine's just tweeted, which hashtag golden spot will you stop by as soon as you get back to town? I'm really tempted to reply wherever therapy is available.
And then posted on Reddit for 7-Up dudes.
I really am tempted to do that.
Oh,
You know what? I'll do it. I'm not even a student there, but I'll do it.
One other thing. This is also really wildly off topic. I filled up my gas last night. I had to take Lauren home. All right.
Oh, no.
It's 30 miles one way to her house, just about. I overfilled the tank, and I got home, and that's how much was on the gate.
Okay.
I went 60 miles to
overfill your
move
tank.
that much.
Anyway.
Yeah, do that. I made progress on my train.
I knew Mookie had that to talk about too, so I knew we had one more thing to cover.
Yeah.
So let me go back to the picture of the
And
route.
I found absolute cancer on the DOS.
Wait, what?
Wow.
I found cancer on the DOS.
Oh, the huge boy or whatever?
Yep. The monstrosity that runs off of propane.
Why does it run off of
I
what
don't
the
know,
hell is
man.
Everything's chrome in
What the hell is with that nose? Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man.
Why does
Nobody
it have pistons
knows.
like
I
a
don't
V8
know.
engine?
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't want to know.
This is amazing in the worst ways.
Yeah. And then I have a picture of it going on the wall.
But you love his Mikado, Ellis.
Oh, God.
It sees such frequent use.
It's got propane. No, seriously, is it that railroad? Is it that same guy? Oh,
yes!
God.
So, Milky, what is this route meant to be?
This railroad is the Albany and Western Dollar branch line, which is based off of a SP and S branch line.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool.
SP.
Yep.
ESP.
SP and S.
I just found a picture of the Pacific at Golden Gate live steamers, and it looks so much like SP Guy's engine. The only thing it doesn't,
Are we sure
it
that
doesn't
it's
have the
not?
red cow catcher. It's
Aw. That was before he had hit all the
Jesus
innocent children.
Christ.
Somebody was saying that he had died?
Aw.
I wouldn't be overly surprised.
I wouldn't really either, but,
It's
you
kind
know,
of
rip
Yeah.
SP guy.
Yeah.
They say only the good die young. I wonder how. old he was.
Anyways,
Anyway, is it time for?
Yeah.
I think it's
Beautiful.
I can't hear anymore.
In one corner, all right. I would like the combatants to post pictures of their locomotives. In one corner we have a T1, and in the other corner we have a different T1. It's up to you guys to figure out which ones that we mean until I get the pictures up.
nice.
Throw up a little bit there,
No,
Ellis.
please just post it again.
Everybody
It's
boy.
way far up.
I got CP.
I got
We can't get to it with all the pictures of your girlfriend.
No.
Girlfriend. We're doing the T1B,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
In
Because
one
Chris
corner
has
we
a
have the
girlfriend.
C&O
Ellis has a
T1.
girlfriend.
And in the other corner
Well, look, we gotta get you one.
we have
there,
the
buddy.
CP T1. And here's another picture of the C&O T1.
Virtually.
You know what's odd? We posted 2 pictures of them each, and they're both almost the same angle.
Just flipped.
Yeah.
Now, let me open this one too, so we've got lots of pictures. Alright,
Yeah.
Well, The CPT one, I will like to say, has technically been on before because it and the Canadian Pacific K1A share a boiler.
That doesn't mean it's technically been on. That means
Burler.
part of it
That's
has
a
been on.
really long one.
Part of it has been on.
I'm pretty sure I
Not a
did it.
style point.
I don't know if I would say it's not a style point because having interchangeable parts with other locomotive classes is certainly
No. I'm not meaning the
just
boiler.
it being on before.
I'm meaning
Okay,
it
that I
being
can
on
agree with.
before because
All
of
right,
the
anyway.
boiler. That's not a style point.
Who do we think should go first? There are two.
CP.
Okay,
All
the
right.
CP, I guess.
Surprising,
Pester is
surprising no one. I
Pester
said
is going to
CP.
represent the CP engine, and Chris is going to represent the C&O engine.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right, guys, hit it.
What do I do first?
Come on, Pester. You got
Do I do the
this.
history?
No.
It's
You
the
have
one
to-
part I-
No,
Pick a-
you go to
pick
the
a
link
statistic.
and then you do the thing.
Oh, just pick a thing to
Yeah,
start.
remember,
yeah.
Pick one that you think you'll
Also,
win
yeah,
at.
pick something that you
Yes.
think you'll win at. You can look at all sorts of pictures and stuff of the other guy. You can't look at his stats.
Boiler pressure is at 285 psi.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
all
well,
right.
first off,
So boiler
you're
pressure. Milky, yours is.
What?
Nope,
Oh,
he's not
crap.
playing.
Sorry.
I'm playing.
If I was playing, I'd be the
Yeah,
CP
I know,
engine.
sorry, I saw CP and thought Milky.
I am 260 pounds of operating.
260, and
Hey.
yours is 285.
285.
1 point for the CP.
It's a strange
T1A.
number.
I don't know why I wrote a 5 there.
Wait, I thought we were doing the
Oh, sorry,
T1B.
Yeah, it's B.
I just didn't update the thing.
Tib.
I've been
I
reading
just-
the
I just didn't
stats,
do
so
the
don't
thing.
worry.
My bad. I meant to fix that. All
The
right.
tib.
Sorry.
Next.
Chris, you pick something.
No.
No,
Okay,
it's-
we go until
it's-
you lose.
Yeah, if you win, you keep
Okay.
going.
Okay. High pressure cylinders with a diameter of 25 inches and the stroke of 32 inches.
Okay.
I am
By
29 inches by 34 inches.
Damn, that's
Ooh.
big.
Jiminy.
It's a big
That's
stroke.
chunk. All right, Chris goes again.
Chris goes for the first
Well,
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I, in fact, did not go the last time. What do I want to ask?
I can see one that you win at just first glance.
Yeah.
The gears are turning.
The gears are turning, the smoke is coming
I don't
out.
think the gears are turning.
I don't think they are either. I think you got that, Ellis.
Maybe they got parallel bars. Yeah.
How many were built?
Oh no.
How many did you say?
10 of the TB, but that's because there's only already 20 of the T1A.
Well, we're going with the TB. I have 40.
You win either way. Even if
Yeah.
it's combined, you win.
All right. Chris goes again for
Okay.
real this time.
I just noticed this. There's a number built and a number in
You
class.
just noticed that? We've been using that to
Yeah.
get double points for ages.
I- Just noticed that. Well, how many of you were built? It's the number built.
10.
Oh, there it is. Wow,
40.
Chris wins again.
Da-da-da-da.
What is your valve gear?
Wall shirts.
There it is.
That actually wasn't the
Baker.
thing I was looking at.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm
The
I am
gears
not
are
good
turning.
at identifying valve gear by looking at it. I'm really bad.
Oh,
Specifically Washart and Baker. I can't tell them apart. I just don't know enough about them. I
Okay.
don't know what they look like.
Walshart has
The
the banana.
banana.
It's the way the swing hammer works.
The,
Basically,
the
Baker-
expansion
Oh,
link,
okay,
it looks
okay, I
like a
see what you
banana.
Yeah.
Look for the banana.
and Baker, it's just a
Okay.
hanging thing.
Anyway,
Baker has
Chris
the
goes
full
again
mount. I want to ask that or not.
Yeah.
Don't know. What is your minimum weight of rail?
Minimum weight of rail, 103.
Ooh, 124.
Jesus
That
Christ.
thing's light.
Jesus
Lord
Christ.
ass, Lord ass, Lord ass.
CP is really good at weight distribution.
Yep.
Yeah,
Clearly.
All right. Well, that answers a lot of questions for me.
Okay, let's go to your what's your evaporative heating surface? Mine
I
is,
have 6,624 square foot.
5,054.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I get a strange
Okay.
feeling about the outcome of this locomotive versus already.
I do too.
I'd like to know your combined heating surface.
7,086.
9,654.
Crap, your engine's fat.
Yeah, it's thick. Hold on.
superheating
I need to
surface.
update that. Graham just sent me a video of somebody
Superheater.
getting married at Horseshoe Curve. So I needed to.
Alice, is
Yeah, that is actually my wedding plan.
Oh my god.
And it was
lovely.
Madison's idea, not mine.
Oh,
Sorry
that's great.
to
You need to get
take
the
us off
fucking
track.
ring.
Chris, continue.
What's the superheating surface?
2,032.
30-30.
30-30. I heard 30-30.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
All right.
What is your grate area?
93 square feet.
93. Holy crap. 121.70.
Jesus.
Your engine's really fat. It needs to go work out.
No, it's good. It
No,
did
no,
work
I
out.
think
Yours
it's
needs to
fine.
work out.
What is the firebox area?
412 square feet.
645.5.
His engine isn't fat.
I
it's
think I know the
small.
winner.
Yes.
Mine is
What
also designed to be an express passenger engine while just to express stuff. So
What is your evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume?
volume 277.
254.84.
Hold on. Question. This was designed to be an express passenger engine?
No, express passenger. It's express, so it's designed for fast rate through the mountains.
Friggin'
That's why the
hell.
wheels are
I was
small.
about to
So
say,
it's
what were they
like-
smoking?
It's designed to go up hills really well while keeping speed.
Yeah, it's more of a general service.
Okay, well, anyway, they made it look stupid for no reason. If it's not hauling passengers, what's the point?
It was
Okay,
hauling
so
passengers.
Yeah, it was.
Everything.
why would
It
you
was
make
a
this
fast
thing all
engine.
passenger trains? Anyway,
No, it wasn't all passenger
but
trains. It was
like
half,
at all!
So it didn't make.
Yeah.
We're going around in circles here. Anyway,
Yeah.
you can go now.
They did have the unstreamlined version because that was the T1A was unstreamlined. So
Okay, well, keep going. It's your turn.
okay, sorry. What is your
Favorite color?
Yeah.
Blue. No, red.
I don't. What is your tender fuel capacity?
Okay, first off, I need to follow up with the question. Are you oil or coal fired?
Coal.
I think.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we can do this.
Yeah, coal. Wait. Oh,
Just give
wait,
an
wait,
answer.
wait.
Yeah, you were.
We'll be able
you
to
were
figure
cold.
out if they're
I
mismatched.
have 30 fuel. I have 30 fuel.
30 tons.
You're both 30 tons?
Can we confirm that they're both 30 tons?
I have 30 tons.
Fuel
It's-
capacity, tender coal.
Yeah.
What's the number?
The numbers,
It's in
Mason.
volume.
What do they mean?
It's in volume, so it's
Okay, then oil.
Yeah, it's oil burner.
All right.
Okay.
So
Okay, we can't do
that's
that.
out. Sorry, ask another question.
Wait,
Unless
18
you
tons.
want to
It's in
convince.
tons?
Wait a
Is it
minute.
in tons or not?
There's 18 tons of fuel aboard.
Okay, that's a lot less.
Okay.
Chris wins by a lot.
That would be
But it's
cool.
also oil burning, so yeah, that's
That-
what we can't use.
That doesn't make sense for a tender that size.
This tender is small.
Hang on.
Well,
It's oil. It's oil.
I guess, yeah, that tender
Is it-
that's
is it oil or
Alright,
coal?
Yeah, never mind.
Is it oil or coal?
I
Do you
think
want
that-
me to get on the steam locomotive page? and
I'm
verify?
already headed there. Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this, okay? This is the
You
part
just need to give an answer.
I don't do.
Tender
know.
fuel capacity.
I don't know. It literally says coal/oil.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
Okay, well, this is awkward.
It's
The
in
only page I
gal-
can find.
It's in gallons, I think.
Yeah.
Because I doubt that it's fucking 4,000
Tender fuel
tons of-
capacity. It is in gallons.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
I'm
cannot.
We fixed it.
Okay, so we can't do that.
I'm dumb.
Pick a different one.
Oh, that's kiloliters. What's your water capacity? 14.
That's something that we can both.
Are you
can
sure?
do. And this is all in gallons.
The Canadian engine boils syrup.
Yeah.
14,400 gallons of maple syrup. What's your capacity of water?
I have 23,500 gallons of pure American water.
Is that like is that an 8-axle
Nope.
tender or something?
Actually,
No.
no,
I mean, its minimum weight of rail is that much.
It's big.
Chunkier.
It's really big. If you put these two engines next to one another, you would be able to see a significant size disparity, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ball's back in my
Yep.
court. I'm gonna lose that. How many points
10
do we
to
have?
3.
Okay, so 13. What year were you built?
1938.
Damn it, 1930.
Alright, he gets another point.
Yeah.
Now 10 to 4.
I should have gone with the P1A. It has some better stats.
Well, you made your bed, now
Well,
lie in it.
Too late now.
I know it's too late now. I just broke this cap.
Okay, so ask a question. Yes, you
Wait,
did.
I won that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
newer
of course
wins?
it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What are the gallons?
What is your... If I ask weight, is that the winner is heavier or
Winner
lighter?
is lighter.
Lighter.
What's your engine weight? Mine is 447,000 pounds.
My engine weight is 566,000
I'm surprised
pounds
it's that
per
close.
Yeah.
What is your tender loading weight? Mine is 284,000 pounds.
Where is the tender load? Can I just...
No,
just
what
stop?
is it?
450,000
Oh, Jesus Christ.
pounds. That's what 30 tons of coal will do.
What's your total engine and tender weight? Mine is 731,000 pounds.
981,000 pounds.
Well, isn't over a million.
So close to a million. So close to a million.
Go get him, kid.
1 million pounds.
Okay. Alright, Pester, keep going.
What is your driver diameter? Mine's 36 inches.
24 inches. Holy shit, that's small.
You have
That seems wrong.
How is yours 24? Pester's is 63.
Yeah, a 63. How
We
is
have 63-inch drivers. Holy shit.
tiny, small?
How is yours
There's no way yours is
24?
24.
I don't.
Wait, no, that's the
I don't believe
wheelbase. God damn it, that's the
Very
wheelbase.
strong. My Augie Mikados have bigger drivers than that.
Okay,
346 has
my-
bigger drivers than that.
Okay, no, it's 69
Nice.
Okay.
Hey.
Alright, he wins by a few inches.
Nice.
So,
Uh,
so wait. Is
Oh,
Yes, you
I
win. You're
win?
slightly larger.
he wins the 69 by a
Yeah.
few inches. Well,
Nice.
Okay, well, how many points do we have on the board?
Not enough.
Oh boy.
We're
I
too
know.
short.
How many points do we
It's
have?
11 to 7,
Too short?
so we have 18 points on the board.
need two
Okay.
more. Sorry.
I'm
Shut up.
gonna go with tractive effort. What's your tractive effort?
Reading traffic effort. 76,905 pounds.
91,580.
Okay, I was impressed. And now I'm more impressed.
Wait,
Okay.
96, Chris?
91.
91. Okay. The thing
91.
pulls almost as hard as the UP Challengers.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was about to say that's like two 113s.
That's articulated levels of pull right there.
Yeah.
Next one.
Going through this, I can really see.
I was
why the
literally
Pansy
going to
chose
say
this.
that. This is why they liked them.
Okay. I'm gonna go and chance it. I'm gonna do Robert Lee Messina's power computation.
Also, is that really much of a
it's
chance?
not.
I don't think so.
26,648.
31,642.
F.
Same as buff plus superheater percentage.
Can we do plus great? Oh, buff with substitute firebox
No.
for great
Next
area.
one down.
Okay.
Yeah.
34,375.
41,000 plus or 41,451. And then the next one down, the substitute firebox area for great area.
151,472.
219,857.
How is this like not the most powerful engine ever
Because the
built?
Q2 happened.
Yes. Power L1.
41,812.
42,702.
That's
Very close. And with that,
He's
I'm
not
going
gonna
to
do
skip
Power
Power
MT.
MT and play it safe.
What is Power MT?
What is Power MT? That's a good question.
Please, let's not try to go into... Alright.
No.
Okay, let's do this later.
I've got his book sitting on the desk over there. I could try to
Alright, wait,
find
were
it.
you asking that as a I want
Find
the
it
number,
later.
or you want to know what it is?
No, I just want to know
Okay,
what
you can read
Power
about
MT
that after the
actually
show.
is.
Okay.
We're going to go into
Okay, so
style
it's 16 to
points.
7.
All weather cab.
Yeah, that's
bitch.
one I was thinking of. Also, the streamlining is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Streamlining
cool.
is cool.
Okay, can I have a style point for the most famous photo of a boiler explosion?
No. I already said
That's
you weren't
kinda
getting a point
sad.
for
I
the
feel like
boiler.
that's
No.
a point. I feel like that's
Damn it,
a
I
point
feel
of
good
games
crack.
to you, if you
No.
ask me.
Hey, Chris,
Um,
how many of you are still around?
0.
Checkmate.
2.
So,
we have
3.
we have a booster that adds 20 or 12,000 pounds
Did they
of
both not have
traffic
boosters?
effort.
This
I-
thing was
I think
I
This
do
engine-
not know if I have a booster or not.
this engine was designed to get passenger trains going.
So,
Yeah.
stupid question. Is that not what the different sized axles on the trailing truck mean?
Not necessarily.
Yes.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Why would
But
you
they-
do that?
Just to fit them under the firebox.
They did all the time in Canada.
I
This
know.
upsets
Also,
me.
it does have a booster. They both have boosters.
Okay, then never mind. I can't
also,
find a good shot of them.
Okay.
the C&O engine has more air res
Oh, it has
space.
so much more air res
Yeah.
space, and it has all the sand.
Yes,
That
I was
too.
about to say we have the Lima Sand Dome.
Oddly
We
enough,
have-
the CP engine
Hold
does
on.
not have a power reverse.
Yeah.
I need my hat.
I
Shameful
don't know what that means,
display.
but okay.
I
Weird.
need it.
It has a screw reverse, which is even more shameful, but
It's Walshers.
That doesn't say anything.
All CP engines, even the ones.
yes, it is.
Okay.
These or
Also, the CP engine obscures. Yes, the streamlining is cool, but it obscures the check valves. It obscures the snifter valves. It makes getting at the heart links difficult. Although the firebox is really nice.
the Selkirk were the final standard gauge steam locomotives built for any Canadian railway.
That's cool. I'll give a point for
Mhm.
that.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, I'll give you like whatever at this point.
If I
Are we gonna
When-
lump paint job in
Yeah,
with
I was gonna do that.
streamlining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few here. Lima built.
That's
Although
a,
that's
that's a
really
statistic.
technical.
You didn't do that one.
Yeah.
That's
No, that's not a style point.
However,
I don't know that.
because it is Lima built, it has the same firebox basically as a Burke, so it has thermic siphons inside of there.
Thermic siphons are definitely cool.
So that's a point, and of course, then the arches that go with it. I believe they had.
How many
track
siphons
bands.
does it have?
3.
Nice.
From what from what I'm reading, it's the same firebox as a Burke. So the Burks have 3, so therefore it has 3.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's see here. Do you have models of you
Yes,
in the physical world?
I
Okay.
believe we do.
Well, do you
Do you
have?
have a Bergso model in train?
I don't know.
Yeah, we do have actual models. The CPT-1 both physical and
Yeah,
virtual.
K&L model in that case.
Okay.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Let's see here.
the C&O
When-
engine has a head-end throttle, which
Yes.
the Canadian engine does not appear to.
Hey, Chris, when were you retired?
I do not know.
Okay,
we'll-
1959, so you can't beat
we'll-
that.
Probably not.
Unless
I'd like to
if
give us
you
a
were in
style
the
point for the
ballroom.
Lima.
Yeah.
I'd like to give us a style point for the compressor shields. It
Overruled.
had two
Too many compressor
two
shields.
cross compounds on the front there, which provide very great and easy access to the
Mhm.
compressors, just like on a Burke.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Those aren't really that special.
Burke and 765.
You both have 2 cross compounds. I really don't want to give you the point for they're on the pilot and that's easier access because it's not easier access. Climbing up on the pilot for anything is a pain in the ass.
But you can get to all the oiling points by standing on the ground.
You can also do that if the compressors are right next to each other on the side of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
In
but
fact,
you also
it's
don't need a
easier.
ladder.
I mean, I don't need a ladder.
Hey,
You're
that,
a fucking
hey, that guy looks like
ladder.
he'd be great to help install the throttle.
Yeah.
CP made all
Look at
their
that
stuff on
guy.
the ground. Mostly because I've seen them do 2816 and they're doing everything on the ground, so it's all access from the ground.
Nah.
Let me find out when they were retired.
Both of you have plane bearings.
Yes. Wait, no, the front truck on mine was a should be no, never mind, I'm wrong.
That
I
is
think
not what
some
the
of them
picture
had
shows.
I think some of them may have had it, but
Looking,
no, never mind. I'm
looking
wrong.
at both of the pictures of both engines, all visible journals are journal bearings. They're just plain.
Plain and
This
uninteresting.
picture is speaking of Ohio.
Which is,
Uh,
it's a tricky one because plane bearings are technically, from an engineering standpoint, journal bearings, whereas roller bearings are thrust bearings, but they're built in such a way as they act like a journal bearing. Because they can
Yeah.
slide.
I'd like to ask. They were all scrapped by 1952, is what
Wow,
I'm
that was
seeing
early.
here. So I did not win that.
Yeah.
I'd like to. Well, what was I just gonna say?
I gotta find the retirement date of him
Oh,
right now.
I'd like to get a style point for the Penzi picking and building a design off of it in wartime.
Last service, the T1A, all of them were pretty much retired they're all retired in 1959.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm 1952, so that's significant difference. The CNL was very early in dieselization, but can we get a style point for me being the Penzi J1?
quick.
Don't bring the Penzi
Eh.
into this.
Well, I'm sorry, it's literally the same engine. It's legitimately the same engine.
Don't bring it in. We're not talking about the Penzi. No Penzi.
I don't want to give it on
Decent.
just the basis that you have enough points, but the fact of the matter is that
Yeah.
if the design is so good that it warrants being borrowed by other railroads, It's a pretty good design.
And not just other railroads by we will design everything ourselves and do it our way and only our way because F you, Penzi.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to give that.
All right, I gave it. It's special.
That's all.
Well, you got that right. Yeah, Princy Prick.
Anyway,
I'm not a Penzi guy. You can't blame me for that.
No, I can't. But it was still pretty damn good.
all right. Well, it's 23 to
the bell
14. I
placement.
think he's
Yeah.
already dead.
The bell placement on the CP engine is
Yeah, but
strange.
at least you can ring it from the cab.
I believe,
That's
I believe, but I can't find any proof. I believe they had an air-actuated whistle. Most C&O engines, most big C&O engines did, but I'm not sure if this stat had it. Most likely it did.
Why?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. The Alleghenies and the Kanawas and all of them, they all had
What lazy fuck can't be bothered to pull the whistle cord?
yeah, they had air-actuated whistles, which is kind of
Look at this, we made a solenoid valve. It makes the whistle go bah. You can't quill it because all it does is go bah. Comes around the corner, it sounds like angry. Anyways,
I still love. Oh, a non-trained friend refers to modern train horns as "Why are they so angry?"
Why are they so angry?
Why are they showing?
yeah. Or if it's the big one, then it's well.
No, it's beef.
Well.
You know what it was like? It was like derail horns. It was like derail ones to make you deaf.
What was that?
Derail emergency horns too.
Something just disconnected.
And
I didn't hear it.
yeah,
It wasn't my mouse or my keyboard.
Oof.
normally I'd want to pile drive this into the ground, but I can't find any.
I think we're good
to
here.
look up close.
I think we're good. So
Yeah.
the T-1, the C&O T1 wins by the points. That's 23 to 15. And let's cast our votes. I don't actually know who we want to vote for.
I will vote, even though my vote doesn't count anyway. I would actually vote for the T1 because it's more of an unusual locomotive.
Thank
Or
you.
uses
I will
Thank
vote
you.
for the T1.
for the CP.
You're too kind.
Yeah.
Just because it's more of an unusual locomotive and kind of unique. You know, it's rather unique and unorthodox.
Yeah.
They do have a 210-4 be used for passenger service.
Hey, it was effective, man, and that's why I'm voting
it
for
wasn't
it.
just passenger service. It was mixed traffic express.
Yeah.
Well, still.
Have you,
gonna-
have you seen Rogers Pass and the gradients on it? You
Yeah.
know that big just with how many wheels just to get a passenger train moving.
I'm
Yeah.
of
Actually,
the
speed.
Canadian thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
But it can suck my ass as far as grades are concerned.
I think we can skip up the grades.
I'm just gonna give the C&O T1 a pity point. That's the only reason I'm voting for it.
Oof.
It's in the lead. It does
It
not
needs a
need
pity point in the votes.
Oh, we're voting. Oh, I vote T1.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
I vote T1.
So it's 4-1.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, sir.
unanimous.
Our
The
vote's
T1
going
Wow,
down.
good job, T1.
T1 wins.
Good job.
Alternate name for this episode,
Sorry, our
in which
votes
the
don't count
T1
because we were
wins.
playing.
in which the T1. Oh no, I like Chunky Milk and Entenmann.
Oh, that's going to be the actual name. This is the alternate name.
Oh, okay.
That was rather interesting to do a T1 versus T1, but not the
Yeah,
normal
well,
T1s.
maybe
because
next time we can
T1s
have
are
something that's
stupid.
actually comparable to the T1 instead of
So,
something
I know,
that
I
just
know
gets
I suggested
trampled on.
it. Well, I thought. Oh, I think we both thought it would
I
get
didn't
trampled
know.
on.
I had no idea of the capabilities
I
of
thought it was.
the thing. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the news. So starting
Wow.
off with
That's
actually
good.
some news out of Steamtown. Bible, you were talking about your tender decking, right? How you guys have been working on 20's tender. The tender of 3713 is very close to being finished. So basically that means the engine's almost done. If you know, the history is anything to go by, tender decking completed, engine done. So
Yeah.
it's getting ready for it's getting ready for sandblasting and painting. And that's pretty sure it's the last things they need to do. So they're going to have
I should
a
go up
shiny
and see the
3713 tender, and hopefully someday in our lifetimes they'll have an engine to go with it.
An engine in
Yeah.
a million pieces. You know,
someday.
it's fine.
But
Someday.
if you
Not
don't
important.
want to wait, you can of course use the K&L 3713 or the new K&L engine and route collaboration. Mainly, I don't have much invested in this,
Engine.
but the actual video itself, the promotional video, is really, really well done. It is like 20 minutes long or 30 minutes long. It's
Yep.
it goes on and has the whole history of this little railroad, this little fictional railroad.
The Tri-Brook and the Silpas Valley, which is based in upstate New York. Yeah.
It's so cool. I just sort of went through
Yeah.
it a little bit and I was like, oh, this is really well done. This is really good.
It's kind of the immersion that I want the Albany and
Yeah.
Western to have eventually.
Yeah, it's very, very well done.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to sort of go somewhere with that, but I don't have anything really to jump to directly. I suppose. What? I heard someone going,
No, I don't.
Uh,
I did. I was like seeing if I had something.
Well,
I don't.
do something anyway.
I gotta go in about 20 minutes, so sorry. But yeah, so I can say it for...
We'll get through
Yeah,
your
high
news
frequency
then.
rail.
Do your news.
Oh, okay. High frequency rail, yes. Finally. As election time rolls up, the Trudeau government needs to line up a few more things just to secure themselves that election seat. And yeah, they got my vote. This was what happening. I'm voting for them.
This is it. This did it for you.
Because this is it. They did it for me. There's a few other things, reasonable things. High frequency 1 disappeared.
Oh, sorry, I moved it because I thought you had opened it. Here, you can have it back.
Oh, I had not. Okay. Let me just open up everything. So basically, there's three. I got all three open.
Okay, I'll move them in the carcass.
So VRail's finally got a proper webpage about it. No longer is it just like proposal. It's actually like we might be very well doing this now. So they got fancier maps now, fancier everything. So they're actually putting money towards actually doing it in time. Canadian government has released some new stuff from the summer in June and some in July. Telling that they're starting to put money towards looking into the final securement of legal fees and property to eventually start construction. And it's as a final conclusion for my third time final conclusion, VRail's high speed potential actually happening now. Mm-hmm. So in the next 10, 20 years, 10 years, this might very well be running.
That's cool.
Nice.
I hope in the next...
You know what's
Well,
not going to be running in the next
What?
10 to 20 years?
Yeah.
The Front Range Passenger Rail Commission of
Ooh.
Colorado has put out a survey asking residents or people or
Foamers.
just random whoever about what they think about passenger rail on the Front Range and how useful it would be. Now, we've discussed this at length before. It would be awesome. I highly encourage everybody to go and take the survey and reflect positively on the idea of rail. But, yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
Well,
Right.
you know what you don't have to hold
Yeah.
your breath for at all? No.
Tunnels?
The non-stop Acela service between New York Penn Station and Washington Union Station that just launched.
Okay.
They're sorry, not just launched. They expect to no, they did. Sorry, I'm stupid. I misread this article. So the service is called, wait for it, Acela Nonstop. The
Wow.
ride will take 2 hours and 35
Wow.
minutes to go between DC and New York. And
That's pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty good. I think they're just trying to compete with the regional airlines here, and I hope it garners enough support to make it worthwhile. Also, they expect to add nonstop service between New York and Boston once the new Avalia Liberty trains show up in 2021. So,
Well, here's what I think Amtrak's really going to be doing is they're going to start shuffling the Avalias onto the main expresses, and the Excel's they're going to start running the regional trains, and they're going to start ramping up the speed of the corridor even more.
yeah, see,
Yeah.
everyone, a lot of murmurs as well, they're just going to get rid of the Acellas when their time is up, but honestly, I don't think they're going to want to get rid of that valuable of an asset. You know, and I'm kind of with you. I definitely see them getting shoveled onto sort of second-class service, either on the
from what
corridor or maybe on the Keystone. Or something
From
like
what
that.
I've heard, they're supposed to be going on the Keystone.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be doing testing and stuff like that. Supposedly, I have seen nothing of it.
Yeah.
Do some more testing up there to see how fast they can truly run it.
Electrified.
Doing stuff between Philly and Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Electrified Baltimore. No,
That
not
would-
Baltimore. Electrified to Buffalo. Electrified to Buffalo.
That would be a
Please,
really
dear
fun
God, no.
one,
Please, dear
actually.
God, no.
That would be the
That'd be
next.
so fast.
Honestly, that would be the next corridor that I would assume they would do the electrification on.
Like that'd be, I would love, like that'd be great to get around. Like because my family, whenever we go to New York, we drive down to Syracuse and park there. So like, if we could ever, like, you go to Syracuse and you hop on a high-speed train, that'd be like
Yeah.
the greatest thing.
I could see at least electrification up to Albany in the near future.
Yeah.
I know there aren't any
Yeah,
immediate
I can
plans for
see
it, but it
Albany.
makes sense.
We're also, yeah. Oh, the good news about VIA is a private company is starting to push money forward too. So it's not just the government.
That's cool.
So this is actually happening.
Speaking of
It's
Albany,
awesome.
speaking of Albany, actually, the Lakeshore Limited, the segment between Boston and Albany, was out of commission for a time, and now they're back. So they're actually back, I believe, ahead of schedule, because Amtrak, or not Amtrak, because CSX owns the route, but CSX completed all their infrastructure stuff ahead of schedule. So at least they're doing something ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And for other good things that CSX is doing, check out their new law enforcement unit. It's got a pretty cool paint scheme. I like how CSX is going, not totally all in yet, but going in with the
Well,
special paint units.
Yeah.
I won't call them heritage units because they're not, but
I don't.
speaking of good things that CSX is doing.
oh no.
Oh yeah, 2716 has moved from the middle of nowhere to the other middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a slightly less middle of nowhere.
Yes, they'd had a good job of it. So from what I heard, no problems. They put a decently cool logo on the tender. Their famous boxcar logo with the steam engine etchings on the side instead of.
It just
brackets.
made me like foamer giddy. I was like, look at it, look at what they're
Kinda
doing.
I think it was pretty cool.
I hope CSX really continues to support these guys because they could use the good PR.
Yeah, CSX also, although I don't think this is in news, I'm not sure if it was reported on, they also donated a shitload of boxcars to both them and 576 which is, really good. They've been doing a lot of good things for the heritage community as of late. They're also doing good things for the passenger rail community with the new river train.
They did it. They figured out PR.
For now.
They have finally figured it out. They have started. I'm not sure if tickets. I think they go on sale next week for the new river train. They're also. I read in an article that they're adding bug cars into the consist as coach cars. Now it's not the
Like
good old bug
RDCs?
cars that we all know. Yes, but
What the hell?
as in number 4 or tier 4 RDCs. Like what Kavan.
What?
The new ones. The newer ones.
The SPD.
The ones that look like Metroliner coaches.
Yep.
Google
The
Images
round
changed.
ones.
Thanks, I hate it.
From the I've heard whisper. Sorry, you done?
Voices from the other
No,
side.
I'm not done.
Alright.
The only thing I can't find out, and hopefully we'll find out soon, is the motive power. I'm really confused as to if they're using 765 or not, because they had stated in their opening press release was that they had started a partnership with Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society and Kentucky Steam. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see Steam on CSX, like live Steam on CSX, but I don't quite know.
That would be really cool.
That would be.
Give me Steam.
Speaking of live Steam elsewhere, sorry, I'm keeping on this roll.
Hey, you can do it. Go ahead. You know.
Southern 4501 is going to be dressed up and hoard up into a L&N engine for the upcoming L&N convention.
Nice.
And going to be running, I'm not sure if it's a freight train or just a train offline. The L&N's Mikados were USRA Mikados, and since they were all based off of the 4501's classmates, it's not that hard. And also with their most recent rebuild into the tourist engine with all the fancy smancy parts and all that, it looks a whole hell of a lot closer to it, with the Worthington feed water heaters and all that. Speaking of... No, actually, I don't have anything to bounce off of that, so sorry, continue.
ATS up 2926 was fired up on July 30th. That's something to keep with the Steam theme.
Yeah. Well, hold on, Chris. Which were all the things that you took? That you went over?
What did I go over? Where are you at?
I'm just looking at your list of links. I need to know which ones I need to take because you.
I have
all those.
Oh, you have nothing you need to take off there. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Milky. 2926.
Yeah, it got steamed up. I can't read the full article, but I assume that everything went well.
Okay. What else debuted?
9 to 10.
Kraus!
The Kraus. Earlier we were talking about the beautiful trains model, although it's slightly different because it's the streamlined one. Yeah. But it's cool. It's basically a cab car at this point, but they do plan on fixing the engine.
Doesn't it have one motor?
They were fixing the engine the other day.
Yeah, it does have one.
The other one.
Yeah. It does have one engine, but that one engine has a few tiny problems that they couldn't fix in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of diesels, and CSX, this would have been a good one, which I kind of forgot about.
I've got a CSX
IRM has acquired a U-28B, which was the last true U-28B with like undefiled everything from CSX, and it will be brought to the museum, which is really cool. I'm glad to see second generation diesel starting to be preserved.
Yeah.
We as much as a lot of people don't really like them, they need to be preserved for history.
I like U-boats. I think they're cool.
I do like U-boats.
So
speaking of things that are cool that are going away. So speaking of things that are cool that are going away.
Hey, I said I had a CSX thing, boy.
Oh,
boy!
Then just go.
Come on, son!
CSX and CN are going to be... This is moving into more the modern era, so I guess I am kind of getting away from the preservation stuff, but we can get back to it. CSX and CN are going to announce, or they have announced, an intermodal service offering, which is going to be between Greater Montreal and Southern Ontario areas and the CSX ports of Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, and New York City. So they're doing this joint venture, but basically being able to run from Toronto and Montreal to, all of the largest ports on the eastern seaboard. When I had read this, I first thought they were doing a transcontinental joint thing. And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
That's a big joint, man.
The mega mergers are coming.
Oh boy.
The true mega mergers. But no.
One second. There's one thing I want to add to passenger rail and Amtrak. Vermont government is putting money forward, taking some time. It's kind of shuffling through their government, but they're going to look into extending Vermonter services to Montreal and extending Eastern Island Express services to Burlington, where you transfer with the Vermonter.
I hadn't heard the first part of that. I did know about the second part of that. But yes, looking at the re-extension of services there, I think is really cool.
I found.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But we also might see very well the Ethan Allen return to its original name of the Montrealer,
That'd be cool.
which would I think that'd be kind of cool if it does if they extend it to Montreal too. But they might not just have it start Burlington, or maybe have it go all the way to Montreal and leave the Vermonter stopping at Burlington. No, all St. Albans. Sorry, I got my station. Yeah, I like passenger rail, and it's kind of cool to see places trying to reinstate it. And next 10, 20 years, it's going to be really good for a change of new passenger rail coming about.
You know, speaking of passenger rail, there's this really cool video that the Wall Street Journal did. Get out of here, advertisement. Inside Amtrak's dying long-distance trains. It's nice when they get publicity, and so often it's sort of this somber, like this video. It's like, they're, they don't make money, they're unpopular with the higher-ups at Amtrak, but they're still there, just trying to sort of, almost like you're raising awareness for an endangered species at this point. But... you know what else is about to be an endangered species? I was really wondering how to segue from that.
Oh no.
G&W lines in Australia. Because they're selling all of them.
I believe they have sold all.
Yeah, G&W, as it's being purchased by Brookfield, is selling its stake in an Australian partner. So... basically, G&W will no longer exist on that continent. G&W as a whole will basically no longer exist, but they will no longer be part of the same company. The G&W holdings in other countries and the G&W holdings in Australia. So, and as for an endangered species that actually refuses to die, Florida man gets killed by Brightline again. A pedestrian was fatally struck by a Brightline train in Hollywood, Florida. And I don't know why this article is so long, it really could just be summed up in one sentence, because at this point it's fairly regular.
Man got hit by a white line train, that's it.
Somebody was... Florida man, the world's worst superhero.
Yeah. Really, though.
Speaking of things that are no longer endangered, Bessemer and Lake Erie 643, I'm very happy to say that it is no longer in danger of being scrapped. And is being saved by who wanted it in the first place originally. The Age of Steam Roundhouse.
Age of Steam was the highest bidder. It's coming priority shipping.
Yep. 3-day overnight.
If it fits, it ships.
They're going to put it in a flat rate box and ship it right over.
Thanks, eBay.
Back in the day, for those that know, 643 was in danger of being scrapped. It's been at basically a parking lot for many, many years. It was restored to operation in steam and preservation, however, then moved forward and broke the rail. And it's currently on the ground, and there's no switch to it anymore. It will be moved by a rail, apparently, from what I understand. I mean, it's a heavy fucker, so exactly just...
It's a thick boy.
Move it. And Jerry Joe Jacobson, that was what kind of started his whole Age of Steam thing. He wanted to save 643 as one of his favorite Steam engines. So it's nice that it's finally back to the place where...
It's all come full circle.
It's come full circle again.
Too bad I didn't get to live to see it.
But speaking of Age of Steam, they're also auctioning off 3 passenger cars, which are pretty cool. It's in kind of bad condition.
It's interesting that they're buying engines and auctioning off passenger cars.
That's exactly why they're auctioning off passenger cars, because they need money.
They need money. I assume they also need some room.
Yeah,
a little bit, but they can always build more track.
Horseman private car time.
Yeah, soon, TM.
Yeah, right.
Someday.
What you call it? Rapid City, Pierre, and Eastern derailed.
Oh my!
Which is
That's a
G&W line.
Yeah.
G&W
is also getting Tier 4 diesels. Yeah, foam. But seriously, G&W they've got 2 Tier 4 compliant locomotives on one of their short lines. They were built by the Knoxville Locomotive Works, and I, first of all, didn't know that was a thing. Second of all, that's kind of cool. These might be the first Tier 4 locomotives that are not on a Class 1 railroad.
That is cool.
In the U.S. at least.
I saw a, probably wrong section, but I just remembered it. I saw a G&W Bloody Nose SD40 switching in eastern Colorado.
Nice.
Still in SP paint.
Cool.
Oh, then you probably saw it on the Kyle.
Kyle.
Yep. Speaking of
Kyle?
Colorado.
Oh.
Sure. Speaking of Kyle, Stothy Pappas has recently put a cap on the 168, and it looks fantastic.
Petition the name 168. Kyle.
Where's the 168
Kyle.
link?
Kyle.
Is there a link to 168? We don't
I
have
don't believe there is. I just saw it on the forum that... Hang on, I can link to the
Actually, you know
forum.
what? Jader posted something for 168, but it was just a picture, so I couldn't do anything with it.
Here. I'll just throw that right there.
Yeah.
So you can get quick access.
Quick access.
Quick access. This to a forum post. It's a wide shot of the engine with a cab on it with its tender behind it. It looks pretty.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see it in service.
I want to see this thing run.
Next year.
Oh, yeah.
I want to double head with this thing.
Maybe.
Please.
Hopefully.
Please.
Keep working on 20.
No.
Uh,
Why bold? 346, 315, and 168.
and also 20.
We can't bring 346.
I know, but just think that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Why can't
Also,
you
the
bring-
numbers are too close together on the tender.
Ooh.
Sorry, but it has to be said.
rivet counting.
I know it's
tried.
rivet counting. This is literally what we do at work with 20 now. It's like, this pipe is supposed to go where? I don't know. Here's a seam. Let's count the rivets. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip a few, 99, 100. Right there.
Jesus Christ. Well, if you want
Well,
to
you know
count
where you
rivets,
can
if you
learn
want
to be a-
rivets.
Count rivets?
If you want to
Rivet.
count rivets
Rivet.
before they're gone, that bascule bridge that I love so very, very much over in East Providence is scheduled to be torn down. When exactly, we're not exactly sure. Sometime in 2026 to 2027, but there are a lot of people, as a matter of fact, that very much like this bridge because it's kind of a local icon at this point.
Yeah.
And that said, it's really in poor shape. There are countless photos of people climbing on it. They have to repair the fence that blocks people to get to it often, is what Rydot says. According to the Providence Police Department, emergency crews have responded to the Crook Point Bridge 17 times in the last 5 years. So that's kind of a high number.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
You
would like the
Yeah.
bridge to remain, but there are certainly a lot of reasons because people just keep climbing on it and whatever. I mean, certainly I'm one of those people, but I can understand why the local authorities certainly don't like it being there.
Want to hear what I'd say?
What?
Build the new bridge, make it a footbridge. Boom. Problem solved. Everyone's happy.
No, that wouldn't make everyone happy because then you destroy the old bridge. People like their bridge not because it is in any way a useful bridge, but because the quote stuck up bridge is an icon of the area.
Why don't you fix it and make it usable again so people can walk?
Good luck with that. Repurposing some of the bridge is not out of the question. They do want to make it a pedestrian bridge, but people like their bridge just the way it is.
I gotta go, so yeah.
All right, I'll see you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, Pastor.
pleasure.
Bye.
Until next year.
Till next year.
But yeah, so we've got a few years to get some grassroots support to stop them from tearing down that bridge.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of things that are going away, this is what I wanted to lead into earlier. F units in Illinois are being shut down.
I don't know. I can't read it because
they're not being shut down. They're being sidelined. They're ending their tenure and. Well,
Can anyone actually
the
read this article? It's friggin' Trains Magazine.
That's the article in their last run. I guess I don't have the article for for their closure. They announced that somebody recently took over the railroad, like the holding company that owns Wagtech or whoever owns this, and so they're sidelining the Fs because they're Fs and they can't really see it very well, and yada yada yada. They're not being scrapped. I imagine they'll probably be sold off. A part of me thinks
Probably
IOM, but I don't know. Speaking of streamlining operations, we're going to go to NS with their precision scheduled railroading, which has been working out very, very well for them on Horseshoe Curve.
Yep.
But that's not what this article is about, because it's from NS themselves, so they're not going to talk about what's going on with them that's bad. They have successfully rolled out the top 21 precision scheduled railroading operating. What it is bullshit, but you can read the article.
I know that feeling, but
Okay.
It is, in
different
fact, not bullshit. I'm just gonna do a speed thing to get through because I have to get to sleep for work tomorrow.
Okay.
As much as I'd love to stay on, I need to. The big boy has announced a new excursion, one of the largest excursions.
Kajan.
That goes on August
Kajan!
over Cajon Pass.
Kajan Pass.
Cajon Pass.
And the tickets are
October
slightly
12th and
cheaper
13th.
than they were for the first excursion. I think. Because wasn't it like $1,500?
It'll be totally challenging over Cajon Pass. The Rail Giant Museum is hosting the excursion, and proceeds are hopefully benefiting them.
And they are.
Passengers will board a train and ride to the Barstow area, and with the bus return from West Colton on October 12th. Although you're not boarding the train in West Colton, you're actually getting on a bus to go to West Colton to board the train, because West Colton is, like a yard.
A big fucking
Yeah, it's a
rail
freight
yard.
yard. Not exactly.
Yeah. So you're gonna start up at the Metrolink station with a bus return from Barstow. And October 13th, will basically be a reverse of that, run from Barstow to West Colton, and a bus transfer to Metrolink. So coach seats are $700. Domes are at $1,100. The lower of the dome diner is $900. The upper is $1,300. First class diner is $1,100. First class lounge is $1,100. First class dome is $1,500. And what the most interesting part of this is the office car Cheyenne is available for $15,000 for a full party of 8.
Yeah.
For a full party of 8.
Wow.
So are we gonna get that? We're
should
gonna
get
do
that.
this, right?
All right, let's start it.
Everyone
Let's
in
go
this
fund
group
it.
contributes
It will be a
$1,000.
15-car train. 15-car train, 12 passenger cars, 3 support cars, 2 water cans, and a diesel. So that's going to be pretty awesome to see that.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to be amazing just to see it pulling all that.
So yeah, I'm just going to go through the other two because I want to. There's going to be. This is a rather interesting train that's going to be restored. A train that moved the nuke train in Amarillo. Is going to be restored. It's really interesting. I think this is a really cool thing, and I support them 120%. It's out of the Pantex plant, which is part of. I guess that's where they made the nukes. It was called the White Train, and it just roamed around the country. It was the safest way to get around. There were armed guards. It took 6-hour shifts. And guarded the thing. A train could not exceed 35 miles an hour. There was a story in this article from a Santa Fe engineer who went to 36 and got floodlights shined in his mirror.
Oh.
And went right back down to 35 and shut off. So they watch stuff like a hawk. It's really neat. I hope they get to restore this and really fucking. And what's also really neat is that on August 8th, we celebrated a milestone in America of 190 years of railroading. The 190 years ago, on August 8th, the first steam locomotive in America or in the Western Hemisphere, the Stourbridge Line
No,
steam.
not the Western Hemisphere.
Yes, the Western Hemisphere.
No, not the Western Hemisphere, because the Western Hemisphere starts in the middle of England.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
it does.
Yes, it
Starts in the middle of the
does.
Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, it does.
It does start in the middle of England. They literally just said this is where it begins.
This is
The prime meridian cuts the country in half.
is in Greenwich.
Yeah.
Okay, well, either way,
The first in the New World. You could say
the
that.
first in the New World. Let's say
Can
that.
you say that, or is that offensive?
I don't think that's offensive, but
Let's
if
say
anyone
that.
is offended,
The
I
first
don't-
steam engine in not India.
no.
Okay.
Okay.
The Stourbridge
It's
Line
not
was
Europe, but it's not
the first
India.
locomotive to run in the New World,
Something in
and the first commercially successful locomotive. Although it did not last very long, because soon after it arrived, the mahogany timbers with iron strapped rails could not handle the weight and broke, and it was shipped back to England.
Oof.
The Stourbridge Line Railroad, which is a modern day railroad on the former Erie, they had a special train to commemorate the occasion in Honesdale. I cannot wait to see. There's currently a replica of the locomotive in Honesdale. I cannot wait to see
Oh yeah.
what they do for the 200th and 10th year.
Right.
And with that, I am done all my news.
All right.
I do have a termination. If I can say that.
Okay.
See y'all in therapy.
All right. And now I'll hop on to my news.
Who just joined?
Done.
Uh.
Click the button. Because it's gonna be about 6 months till I come back. So
Oof.
Okay.
knowing my luck. So all right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Anyway, whale camp is happening again up in Washington
Foamers.
on Tacoma whale. Which
I thought you
I've
said
heard
Como
better.
Rail. I was
I thought-
scared. It's like,
I mean, I thought he said whale camp is happening again.
oh.
they're well, knowing Washington,
Whale
that's
watching.
probably a main too.
Well, I wasn't. That's what I was like. What is this connected to trains with? But
They're going out on a train to see the whales.
they're
Yes.
going to see the whales.
This is an Oregon Coast Scenic sponsored trip.
No. The narrow gauge runs in Wales, not to Wales.
I see. But yeah, it's a summer camp basically for foamers. So that's cool.
You gonna go?
No, because fuck Tacoma. They had the I think they had the deadliest trolley incident in history where a trolley just went off of a trestle. It went off of a trestle and just destroyed everyone.
Okay. Maybe that's why
But
Sydney
that's
wanted to
okay.
get rid of them.
Yeah. Shut up, Ad. But yeah, Sydney wanted to get rid of them because, believe it or not, people were more interested in the car. Yeah. It's just an article detailing how Sydney abandoned their tram network, where R1187 ran. And it's just kind of sad. The picture is actually just how they wrapped them. They burned most of them down to the steel, and that was it.
Burn a car Friday, man.
It's kind of
Yeah,
rude.
burn the car.
Roll it out, burn it down, and pick up the iron when you're done.
Yep. That's
We've
exactly-
totally never done that at the museum.
Nope. Speaking of, I guess, yeah, well, I'm just gonna jump right into it. The White Pass is expanding. So
Yeah.
that's cool. They're,
Span Klondike.
yeah, expand Klondike.
What would you
And give us
do?
our damn passenger cars back.
Are you kidding? I'd kill you for a Klondike bar.
But
For
yeah,
no reason,
they,
the idea of buying more coaches from them came up a couple
Oh
weeks ago.
no!
No.
It's like, why? Because our two coaches that we bought from them already aren't crummy enough. We want more.
Well, I mean, their vintage coaches aren't that bad, but
Yeah, but they're not selling the vintage coaches. There was rumoring that they were going to be selling a former Florence and Cripple Creek coach, which would have been really cool to get.
yeah.
But
I'm holding out hope for their Sumter coaches being for sale, but
Holding out for a hero.
that's a pipe dream. But anyway, they just plan on. I think they're building a new loop so they can turn around on. I think the summit is where they're building it.
Loops, brother. I wonder if
And
Scott will take his engine up there.
who knows?
To the White Pass?
Yeah, it's where it's from.
I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be a hell of a trip, but yeah.
It would be.
It could work.
Could work.
I mean,
I don't know what else he's going to do with it unless he's going to run it on the cats.
Hey, listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think if the White Pass wants more engines, they should really look at some Malay moguls.
Yeah,
You know.
but it's not like Stotty has connection with the cats at all.
Of course not. Well, I say, unless he plans to run it on the cats, I have no doubt in my mind that he will run it on the cats. And that is where it will live, is on the cats.
Anyway, Omnitrax is acquiring the Winchester and Western, which is in West Virginia.
May I remind everyone
actually
that Omnitrax is the operator that refused to rebuild the line to Churchill, effectively starving a town.
Yeah, it looks fun.
So, I don't exactly... They're not my favorite operator.
But they aren't just operating in West Virginia. They operate in Virginia, West Virginia, New Jersey, Maryland.
New Mexico, were you about to say?
No, it's about to see New Maryland.
New Maryland.
Because
after all of Maryland ends up underwater, they'll build a new Maryland.
Fuck you, Baltimore. I'm going to use that twice in this episode.
Speaking of New Jersey,
BNSF is leading the charge on electric locomotives. The article made the pun, I didn't. So you can blame the article, but they're just making it bad.
Blame you.
No.
Yeah, I too choose to blame Milky.
Ha!
Oof. But anyway, they just plan on building a battery-powered engine. Nothing too fancy. It'd be much more fancy if they were actually going to electrify part of their system. But
I mean, they're doing batteries. They're basically making a Tesla locomotive.
Yeah. Which is cool in and of itself. They're working with lab tech on it, so should be good. In theory.
I love this.
But yeah.
I love this. New Jersey. I gotta sidetrack to New Jersey for a second.
Yeah.
Because I looked at this article expecting something interesting, and it's a Bloomberg article. New Jersey Transit's turnaround plan includes senior staff raises, and then cash-strapped New Jersey Transit, whose daily service gaffes frustrate thousands of commuters, is awarding higher pay to senior staff as part of what it calls a turnaround strategy.
Wow.
The raises, totaling $219,000 annually among 8 people, are just a fraction of New Jersey Transit's roughly $1.4 billion yearly cost of salaries and benefits. And it just goes on and describes all these disasters that New Jersey Transit has had. So, last week we were praising New Jersey Transit for their cool, heritage coaches. Now we get to do the opposite. God damn it, New Jersey Transit. By the same token, there was a piece from the New York Daily News which points out that the board members of the Metropolitan Transit Authority are on average 5 times richer than the riders. So...
I could believe it.
Just, the people that they're serving are nothing like them.
Yeah.
And so you wonder why there's some sort of disconnect in there. On the bright side, the subway will be getting a bit of a boost in terms of speed as they root out mostly malfunctioning timer signals, which are some of the silliest things that I've ever heard of. It is a signal where you run over basically a pressure plate, and then the signal is red until a certain amount of time later. You know, it's a distance away from you. You trip a sort of trip wire, and then the signal turns red a few seconds later, basically to make sure that you are going under a certain speed. And there are, at last count, like tens, if not hundreds, of malfunctioning timer signals all over the system that just make you wait way longer than you otherwise need to. There was a whole article on them a while back that I don't think I got to talk about very much, but they're one of the most interesting things here. And if I can talk about one more thing, so in New York and New Jersey, apparently the biggest impedance to, proper transit and stuff like that are the people in charge. In Japan, it's a slug.
A slug.
A slug. There was a slug that disrupted power and, disrupted rail traffic on a Japanese island last month. And in fact, 12,000 people's journeys were affected. 30 trains shuttered to a halt. Yeah. So, how many people do you think committed ritual suicide over this?
I was going to say, how many honorable seppukus did we have?
Right.
Oh my god. It just goes to show you that even the most perfectly run railroad system in the world, possibly, will still succumb to the dumbest things.
Yes. Emphasis on that last piece. Yeah. It's not governments that take railroads down, although they can. It's inevitably something stupid.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway.
CTA fired someone over, an operator in particular, over in-cab video. He a pedestrian retrieving their cell phone, and in-cab video is supposed to be failure to devote attention to duty. I have not seen the video. It's only a minute long, so I'm gonna kind of skip through it. Yeah, it could be, but yeah.
Yeah, I watched the video a couple of times. It's, also the face he makes when he realizes he hit somebody, he's like, oh no. Like, he stands up and he looks like around out the window, whatever. He's like, oh no. Whatever.
Shit. Yeah.
Do this one last, because I have a thing to bounce off of this one.
Okay.
So, let's take a detour in a virtual world, Milky.
Train Striber 2, I think, came out. I don't know exactly why it was posted in here, but anyway, it's basically Train 4 for your iOS devices. Yeah. And it's free.
There's a related app here called American Diesel Trains, and the thumbnail's a big boy.
Nice.
You got close? Not really.
Yeah.
Definitely an American train.
Yep.
There's probably a diesel behind it. Isn't there a fan page for the diesel that follows the big boy around? I'm pretty sure. I think there is. Ask Julius or Graham. They would both know about that. I think there is.
Foaming idiots. Oh, I love you people.
Speaking of idiots,
oh no.
TriMet has come back free of their stops. They're granting the quotes free of them.
Yeah. I understand this, right? I understand this.
Yeah.
Because so many times when it's like this, this is like a trolley line, right?
I think it's Portland streetcar.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
On so many of these, the stops are like a block from one another. There's a section on the MBTA on, I think, the B line of the green, the B branch of the Green Line, where there's like 4 stops for Boston College within a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Like inside of a quarter mile. It stops every few hundred feet. And there have been so many people that have been trying to push to close 2 of those stops because it doesn't make sense for the train to stop at every single cross street.
Yeah.
And
they're saying Chicago.
Yeah. And, but...
Yeah.
speaking of the MBTA, is what I wanted to get at here. They have been rolling out their new Orange Line trains. And there's just a really cool article here that sort of shows off all the cool things about them. There's a tweet from somebody. I was surprised by how quiet they are compared to the old Orange Line trains, which screeched like a toddler denied candy. These glide out of the station and glide to a stop. Trainer Tom Mills compared them to Cadillacs. They're quiet, offer a smooth ride. We have what are called air springs. They essentially act as rubber cushions that soften the ride of a train. Didn't they try to do that in like the turbo train or the?
I think our Boeing car has those.
Didn't the Aero train have something like that, and it was just a disaster? So at least they perfected it over the last 50 years or so. Automated announcements and screens to show where you are and what's next. So they also have an operator alert button.
Nice.
And they're still testing software and stuff. So I've been keeping an eye out to see if I see one of these train sets roaming around, because where I get off the train in Boston is on the Orange Line. So I can see these guys if I'm really lucky. But hopefully when they start the new rollout, they're going to be everywhere. These are going to be such a relief for the MBTA, because the amount of maintenance that's had to go into the cars that these are replacing has sucked up so much budget in the past few decades, which will allow them to do some cool things like what they're proposing out in Western Mass. So recently, Condot apparently just loves commuter rail. They have been expanding service. They have service to Danbury, which was not that new, but they have service up what's called the Hartford line, which goes all the way into Springfield, Mass. They're also proposing new service on the Norwich line, which they said is going to be using 80-mile-an-hour refurbished Bud cars. So I don't know about that, but they said they want to do it, so more power to them. But MassDOT is trying to follow suit and expand their commuter rail west across the state, all the way to Pittsfield, perhaps, which is basically the last town before you hit New York, at least on the rail line. And they did 6 different scenarios. They wrote up 6 different scenarios, which no dollar amounts attached, but they said that they could go from Springfield to Boston in somewhere between 80 to 100 minutes if they built a new rail line which runs along the highway. If they used the current alignment, it would be 90 minutes to about 2 hours if they built freight if they built new lines along the existing right-of-way, but they straightened out some of the curves. And if they don't do that, it's going to be like 2.5 hours just to use the existing rails. Again, no dollar amounts here. They've also put up some ideas that maybe they would stop the train in Springfield and then have a bus connection to Pittsfield, and basically Pittsfield had said, no, we don't want that.
No.
That is a non-starter for one of the state representatives. Quote, anything that doesn't get rail into the Berkshires, I would eliminate from consideration, he said. That's the crux of it.
Nice.
State representatives asked why the plans don't call for a stop in Palmer, which is a fairly major town and it's right on the railroad. Which Palmer has been begging Amtrak to get a stop there for a long time. So, they're trying to. They're really, I like that they come out with 6 different plans here. I don't like the fact that there aren't any dollar amounts, but that's a lot of money to calc out. And I really want to see where this goes. I really, really would love to see more east-west rail in Massachusetts, because it would make going to Albany or something just so much easier. It would make it oodles easier. But if you want to go somewhere from Massachusetts, from Boston in particular, you can always go up to Portland on the Down Easter, and the Maine narrow gauge would like everyone to know that they have no plans to leave. In fact, they are now planning to stay for as long as they can. They're finalizing their site plans to build out a new little engine house and a new ticketing booth at the Ocean Gateway, which is where the cruise ships roll up.
I know where that does that.
Yeah, the narrow gauge railroad needs to be out of its current location. They're in a mill building that is going to get totally renovated. It's they're being displaced from the building, and the building owner said you can come back when the renovations are done. We love to have you here, but the rent is going to be too expensive for them after the building is completely, renovated. Yeah. It's going to be too nice for them, basically. Ridership has more than doubled in the past 5 years. Last year, 60,000 people rode the train, including the popular Polar Express train. And they've been hosting more events like ice cream train rides, and a Friday Fun Night, which has music, lights, and, all sorts of stuff.
What is this, the 1890s?
What?
We have electric lights for the Friday Fun Night.
Yeah. I don't know. Music, lights, juice, and cookies is what they advertise on those trains. So,
I mean, music is good. Juice and cookies, yes.
I'm not going to say no to.
Yes. This is good. Yeah, I won't say no to. The lights thing is an interesting inclusion.
There was like mad lights.
We've got electric lights.
Yeah, so apparently it's been really troublesome for them to get off the ground in Gray. Instead, the narrow gauge exhibit is being moved. So out of the building, they're moving the museum part basically to the WWF. And otherwise, they're just going to be running an operation on the waterfront, which is really cool. Again, they were having trouble getting things into Gray. They wanted to build a new rail line, but apparently those plans have been formally abandoned. They had lack of funding, but they weren't able to develop the property because it was wetland. And boy, have I heard that one before.
Yep.
Getting wetland credits and stuff like that is a process. So I can, I'm just glad they're staying in Portland. I wish they had their other museum, but partnering up with the WWF and staying in Portland is a huge win-win. Anyway. So, the only other thing that I have is just Gateway Project red tape stuff, which I can grouse about all day long. We've had, plenty of time to talk about this, although there are a couple of things that I would like to mention, and maybe talk about just a little bit. One of them is that there is now an investigation going on into VIA for the delays on the Canadian.
Oh, God.
So, maybe we won't have any more 12-hour-long trains. That's also a Trains Magazine article that I can't read. There's another Trains Magazine article that I can't read that talks about the Central Texas Short Line, which is seeking abandonment.
Oof.
Yeah, the Texas Central and Colorado River struggles with loss of frac sand business, and basically...
Anyone want to start tourist river on it?
No.
Maybe the Grapevine can move there.
Yeah, maybe. Just maybe.
Get them out of the way of the other things. The other thing is, and this is just one more interesting thing I want to drop in here. Who is this? So regulators, they say regulators. Oh, this is the one. Sorry, when you said they said diesel trains and showed a picture of the big boy, this is the article I thought of because I was like, there's an article in here somewhere that has a really unfitting picture, and it says regulators may consider cameras on freight trains, and the picture is of an Iowa interstate QJ.
Nice.
So with a passenger train also. So
it's the same thing. It's a train.
The FRA has proposed requiring that all lead locomotives on passenger trains install inward and outward facing cameras. I thought it was going to be on. So volunteer installation of locomotive cameras by the major freight railroads has allowed the industry to dodge costly federal requirements, but regulators could still end up mandating cameras and audio recording equipment for train engines that pull both passengers and freight, which I think is a good idea. Right. Published on July 24th, there's a proposal that follows years of numerous fatal accidents. While it doesn't formally suggest mandating the regulation for freight trains, it does ask for comment on several questions. Basically, what I want out of this, personally, is some more live streams. If they can broadcast these cameras or save the footage and upload it, I am so on board. I don't care about anything else. I want more fodder for the background at work. That's about it. for me. But yeah, I am not at all surprised that that is on the table to be a requirement. Because I mean, we already have it with like, cop cars and stuff like that. A lot of people have dash cams themselves, and having recording cameras in case of an incident really sorts things out. So, I don't know, that's my opinion on it. Certainly, I'm sure it's going to make some people uneasy with, an inward-facing camera and stuff like that. And I can definitely understand that. You don't want to get caught on the job doing, whatever.
Yeah.
And also, just having a camera pointed at you is,
Yeah, it's a little big brothery, but it's sort of, I don't know. It depends on what they do with it.
Yeah.
If it's like NSA Simpsons levels, if they have somebody constantly, you have somebody that's in the cab running the locomotive, and then somebody in real time staring at them, making sure they don't screw up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little far.
I feel like that.
But if it's like, hey, there was an accident, we're gonna go back and review the in-cab footage to see what was going on. I don't feel like that's.
No, and I'll bet you that's what it is. I don't think any railroad would bother to have the personnel to watch people.
I don't think so either.
Because then you need to hire more people to watch those people, and more people to watch those people. And,
it's like the meme with the guy that's pointing the gun at his own head.
Yeah. Trust no one, not even yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, we're going to sit you down and you're going to review the footage from your own adventure. From your own
Tell
run.
us what you did wrong.
That's like
we're not mad, we're just disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the boss calls you into his office and says that,
you're
you're not going to be around for much longer. Anyway,
no.
I think that wraps things up for this week. Let's do the latest train on Amtrak with our 3 people that we have remaining. I think I already know which one it is.
Yeah, we've sort of fallen apart towards the end of this one, huh?
Yeah.
At least people got their stuff out of the way. Ooh, never mind.
Yeah.
Alright, so, what, oh my god. What do we
Something is very late.
What do we think is the latest train on Amtrak? Also, the thing that's super late is about to hit its destination, and so I really hope you guys answer before it gets in. It's so close, guys. It's so close.
Oh, no.
It's the Eastbound Sunset Limited.
Eastbound Sunset. Alright. Milky?
Northbound Coast Starlight.
Northbound Coast Starlight. Alright. The Northbound Coast Starlight is 31 minutes late.
Damn it.
The other Northbound Coast Starlight is 12 minutes late. The Sunset Limited, the Eastbound Sunset Limited, it's actually about to go off the board as well. It's 43 minutes late. It is so close to New Orleans, it's almost there. The Westbound Sunset Limited is 5 hours late.
Oh, God!
The Northbound Cardinal is 4:20. It's 4 hours and 20 minutes late. But the latest train on Amtrak, which is one stop away from Chicago, is the Texas Eagle, which is 7 hours and 12 minutes late. There was a service disruption. They had to go out of their way. I don't know what happened. I didn't get to see it. I don't even know which way they went, which I wish I knew. But Kevon was actually talking about it. Also, the Canadian is 10 hours late. And oh
shocking
my God,
no one.
There are so many delayed trains on the corridor outside of Toronto. There are so many.
Oh, boy.
It's a disaster up there right now.
Well.
Anyway, that's the latest train on Amtrak. So, yeah. Alright, time for our last things. Time for our terminations is what they're called.
Yes.
Wybold, you can go first.
Back to school.
Aren't you excited?
Yay.
Buy your books. Pester didn't have a termination. I'm just gonna give him a
Probably something maple syrup.
Yeah, I'm gonna say never wash dishes, kids.
Ever?
Ever. It's too dangerous.
Reminds me I've got to do laundry tonight.
Oh, boy.
Crap, I gotta do laundry. Oh well. That's not gonna freaking happen. I'm out of pants.
Yeah.
Milky?
I know that feeling. Someone digitized a whole bunch of old Walking Mountain Railroad Club newsletters, so that's
Oh,
cool.
no.
From 1939 up until, yeah,
That's cool.
That's really
And
cool.
by someone, you mean the Rocky Club.
the Rocky Club.
Well, he doesn't know who's specifically in the Rocky Club.
Oh,
Someone.
they don't have individual members.
They don't have names.
It's like the Rocky Club. You like approach, and it's the scene from Hot Fuzz where it's the table of hooded figures. You say something as the greater good.
Nathan Holmes.
The council will decide your fate.
Exactly.
Anyway, alright, thank you guys for watching this episode of the Terminus Podcast.
The greater good.
I'm glad after all of the chaos in getting everyone here, despite the fact that we scheduled the podcast, people then couldn't make it. Then Weibold showed up early, a day early,
Yeah.
and let this thing happen. Alright, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye!
Nathan Holmes.